series, Freedom and Intimacy. Let's talk about it. Jesus, coffee. It's kind of an off-the-cuff morning, kind of an off-the-hip morning. So, read through a verse and kind of wanted to discuss freedom. Like, what does freedom look like? Like, we as a society are so bound up by culture. Culture tells us you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't say that, don't say that, you'll offend somebody, don't say that, and don't say anything, you'll offend somebody, right? So we're enslaved, and culture has us locked up. But that's not what Jesus says. I want to go into a conversation he has with his apostles. This comes out of John 8, it's verse 32. And he goes on to say to them, "And you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free." They go on to say to him, "We are Abraham's descendants and have never been in bondage to anyone. How can you say you will be made free?" So he's saying, wait a minute, we're not in bondage. Like, what do you mean we'll be set free? And I love Jesus' answer. And what's he started with? Most assuredly, which is, listen. When he says most assuredly or truly, truly I say, you want to listen. Most assuredly I say to you, whoever commits a sin is a slave of sin. And slave does not abide in the house forever, but a son abides forever. Therefore, if the Son sets you free, you are free indeed. So he's saying, when we sin and when we're not walking with Christ, we're a slave to sin. But when we give our life to Christ, we're a son. And when he sets us free, we're free forever. We're no longer slaves. We're sons. And sons abide in the house forever. You know, Jesus is love. I mean, he is God is love. I mean, just God is love. But Jesus was the love personified. So, when he wraps his heart around you and tells you, and he wraps his arms around you and tells you, you're mine, you're his, he loves you. Now, we're all made in his image, but we're not all his children. What do I mean by that? We're separated from him until we place our faith in him. When we place our faith in him, we are adopted, as it says in Ephesians 1. So let's talk about intimacy. Because what do we long for? When we have a relationship with Jesus, we long for intimacy. I mean, let's just be honest. Like, in our lives, don't we want an intimate relationship? Don't we want intimate relationships with our friends, our family, with loved ones, with a spouse, don't you want that intimate relationship? Yeah, we all do, right? It's what we're made for. But why don't we pursue intimacy with the one who made us and who wants an intimate relationship with us? He so desperately wants an intimate relationship with us that he sent his son to the cross. so that we're not reconciled, so that he can have an intimate relationship with us. How do we foster intimacy with God? Is it hard? Is it like, do I have to go to seminary? Do I have to become a theologian? Do I have to become a pastor? Do I have to become... No. No, 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 no. Developing intimacy with God is no different than developing any other relationship in your life. When you meet somebody and you want to get to know them, and you want to draw closer to them, and you want to become their friend, and you want to become their bestie, you talk to them, right? You get to know them. You share things with them. The closer you become, the deeper those shares become. Intimacy, right? When you first meet somebody, it's a handshake. When you get to know them and you see them, it's a hug. Intimacy, right? So how do we develop it? Well, I'm going to give you 4 of many steps, but these are 4 really good steps to developing intimacy with God. I mean, he tells us, when you seek me, you will find me. When you seek me with all your heart. When you look with your heart, you're going to find him. Not with your head, your heart. Guys have heard me call this is the fatal 18 inches. Why is it called fatal 18 inches? Because if you got all your knowledge here of who Jesus and who God is, but it's not here, eternal life, salvation, death. You can know everything about who he is, but without knowing him. What does he say in Matthew 7, verse 23? I never knew you. Depart from me, you worker of lawlessness. I never knew you. That's the Father's will, is to get to know the Son. These are 4 ways you can develop that intimacy. So 1 is focus on quality time with God, not quiet time. Because quiet time lets your mind race. Quality time. What's quality time look like? Spend time in the Word. Quality time. You're talking to him, he's talking to you. Because as you're thinking things that you're reading, he knows what you're thinking, and he's going to answer them for you. Where does quality time start? If you don't know where to crack this book open, you don't know where to crack this love letter open at, start in the book of John. Start in the book of John and get to know him. Get to know the attributes of Jesus. Write questions down. Write things down. Keep a notebook near you. Go in and research that stuff. That's all quality time. That's chasing God. You're chasing Jesus. And I'll tell you right now, when you chase him, you don't have to chase him very far. He's 1 step away. You don't have to chase him. Invite him into your day. Don't put a timer on him. Hey, you know what? I'm going to spend 30 minutes today. I'm going to spend 30 minutes every day in the Word with Jesus. And then the other 23 hours and 30 minutes of your day, you facepalm him. No. Don't put him on a timer. Invite him into your day. When you're in quiet time and you're not doing anything, go into prayer. Just, hey, you know what, Lord? Thank you for being who you are. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for never leaving me, never forsaking me. Engage him. How do you develop a relationship with people? You engage them, right? You might text them. You might call them. You might, hey, let's go out to dinner. Intentional time, right? Pour your heart out to him in prayer. Step number 3, pour your heart out to him in prayer. He loves to talk to you. He loves when you come to him. You know, I had amazing, really. I had an amazing conversation with a beautiful member yesterday who, as we sat and talked, God came up in the conversation. I know, big shock, right? And she had admitted to me and poured out that she's working on her relationship, but she doesn't know how to pray. I couldn't do anything but cry in that moment, because right then and there, God's like, that's why you're on her phone line. That's why she came to you. Teach her. Pray to him. Talk to him. Prayer is no different than a conversation with your best friend. Just talk to him. It's all he wants. It's prayer. Prayer doesn't have to be all showy. It doesn't have to be on your knees. It doesn't have to be prostrate position. No. God's not sitting there going, what, you didn't even get on your knees for this one? What's that? No. It's a conversation. It's all he wants. When you engage him, he'll engage you. And 4, go for a walk. Put your earbuds in. Listen to some music. Listen to some worship music. Listen to elevation worship. Listen to Casting Crowns. Listen to Matthew West. Listen to Chris Tomlin. Listen to Phil Wickham. Listen to some worship artists and just spend some time in his creation, looking around and observing everything he does. Every blade of grass is different from the next one. Every leaf on a tree is different from the next one. Observe everything he made and just be in awe of all that he is and does, and listen to that worship music and just let it penetrate your heart. And you find that you develop these habits to build intimacy with him. Find that